And now we turn to a young woman named Brianna Legner. She is the current Miss Moline, and she's the first person to hold the title in 45 years. Brianna is also a University of Illinois graduate and a current speech-language pathologist. And this June, she is competing for the title of Miss Illinois. So of course, we're so thrilled to welcome Brianna here today on The Current. Brianna, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
I gotta ask, after 45 years, how did this title get revived?
Yes, so for the past 44 years, the Miss Black Hawk Valley organization has just been giving the Miss Black Hawk Valley title. But we are coming up on our 75th anniversary this year, and so as a celebration they decided to revive the Miss Moline title, and so this is the first time in 45 years that Miss Moline has been awarded.
Wow. You know, as someone who is a transplant, I mean, I wasn't born in Moline, but now I work here, I live here. I'm curious what your favorite part about this city is.
Yeah, well, I'm an avid runner, so I have to say that running along the paths are my favorite part. And in September, this is my 5th year, I've ran the Quad Cities Marathon Relay with a bunch of my friends. I've not ran the full marathon yet, but maybe someday I'll get to run that. But just getting to have all 4 of the Quad Cities rally around this race is probably one of my favorite events in the city.
Okay, now you've got me off topic because I have to know which leg you ran of that race.
Well, I ran on Arsenal Island twice, and a funny story this year is my marathon partner, he didn't show up at the leg on time, so I ended up running 11 miles instead of 7 miles this year. So next year I'm making sure that everybody gets on their bus in time so I don't have to run extra miles.
Oh my gosh. Well, something else that you're working really hard on is More Than a Smile. Talk to me about what this community initiative is for you.
Yes, well, More Than a Smile was created to create a culture of kindness for children and adults with facial differences. As a speech-language pathologist, I worked alongside Carle Hospital's cleft lip and palate team, and I got to see children from birth to 18 years kind of undergo cleft palate surgery or cleft lip surgery, and then get to see them kind of go through their stages of life. And so as a speech-language pathologist, I decided that this was something I could advocate for not only in my professional life, but in my personal life as well.
Wow, and how do you do that?
Well, I'm starting with education, so I've gone around to a bunch of different schools within the area, and I've spoke about choosing kindness despite differences. I'm also advocating online for positive exposure, so I have an outreach mini-series that I've been working with on the Children's Craniofacial Association, getting to interview really unique and special children on my social media page, and then also promoting legislation such as the Ensuring Lasting Smiles Act and the ALLES Act that really will provide healthcare services for adults and children who need those services.
Wow. And you said you're on your spring break this week.
I am on my spring break this week, yes.
What are you doing with that?
I'm actually going to more school visits, so this kicks off my week of school visits. I've got our interview today, which I'm so grateful for, and then I'm visiting schools around the area, and then we'll have some meetings later in the week to try to push forward some of that legislation I was talking about.
Wow, so if that wasn't enough between now and June, what else are you doing as Miss Moline?
Just the variety of parades in the area, a lot of mock interviews preparing for Miss Illinois, or walking practice and getting alterations and things like that, and then just some community events. So I volunteered at the Night to Shine or the Festival of Trees events in the area, and so just getting out there and spreading not only the Miss America opportunity in the Miss Moline organization, but More Than a Smile.
Wow. Well, Brianna, I'm so impressed, and I cannot thank you enough for your time today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.